Makes me feel like a man.
You want every team to lose any other game?
Sorry. Bailey Zappi just put another dime.
You know what? Wait. Time out.
Are you kidding?
That's what I'm
I'm gonna try to drop a mic.
Welcome to part 2 of the Warner Brothas podcast. It is Monday, May 6th, 2024. And this past weekend, will be remembered as the weekend that the Drake-Kendrick beef really popped off the way we thought it would. Listen, what I thought we were going to get all summer from this beef, we might have just got all in one weekend. I have many thoughts. I have many angles.
Yeah, I guess.
I have so much to say, but I want to hear your initial reaction. I want to, because, you know, I think you've lived through rap beef, Keenan, but I don't know if you've ever experienced one like this. This is the rap beef, aside from how quickly it ascended, this is the rap beef I grew up on. Just good old fashioned hate, just good old fashioned rapping, good old fashioned, just like, I'm trying to embarrass you. It was good old fashioned rap. It was good old fashioned rap.
This is the first time that battle rap that I obviously pay a lot of attention to has been taken to music. Like, there's been some shots thrown, like obviously it was the Eminem MGK thing, but that was each one song and basically like which song is better kind of thing. Like, there was nothing else really there. Like, there have been little things like that have come along here, but never where two artists are going back and forth. And what do they just happen to be? The biggest artists of this generation just going at it. And you can't be more excited about it, or hip hop, I should say, because obviously Taylor Swift and Beyonce are in this generation, but two biggest hip hop artists of this specific generation. Can't be mad at it all. Throughout this whole thing, it's been kind of tough for me because I've been breaking everything down. And I'm just trying to figure out what's real and what's not real. And so since I don't know and everything is not there, I'm just judging this on more of a battle rap mindset where there are certain angles in battle rap that you know is just like not true, or you don't know if it's true or not, but it's how well executed is that angle and how did you put it forth. So you kind of have to operate on some of that with this because, again, there's no allegations of Kendrick beating his wife. In 2014, he went on The Breakfast Club and actually completely talked to Angela Yee, asked him about it. And he said no, like he actually talked about it, like, not in the onset at all. He did not do that at all. But there are like different things. So there's like no actual proof. And then like Drake pedophile thing. And then obviously Drake has an 11-year-old child thing. Like there's just not really been like confirm, deny on all of the stuff that's going on. Some of it, yes, but like all of it, no. But going through, I think Kendrick's up right now. I don't think I know some people are like, well, how is Kendrick not up right now? Or how is Drake not up right now? Or how is it not close? I'm confused. Like, where is it? Like, how is Kendrick not up at this moment in time? Like, he's giving you everything. He's taking, obviously, you have Meet the Grams where he is taking full shots, demeaning not just the kid. Even if you take the kid verse out of it, he's talking to Adonis about him being a terrible parent. He's talking to his mom about you raising it, and his dad about not raising a great person at all. He's saying you are a lot about you lied about this, you lied about that. You're lying to yourself. You literally calling him a horrible person internal. So people are like riding with the well, this is not real because Drake doesn't have the 11-year-old kid. Take that verse out of it. There's 3 other verses in the song where he's specifically talking about how bad of a person that Drake is, and that's the stuff that's hitting harder to me than the kid. If Drake has another kid, as it plays well in social media, it's more so like, again, Drake? Another one that we're hiding? But that's not even like the hardest part of the entire song. So I've been seeing that all over, like, well, Drake doesn't have a kid. What does that mean for that song? That's not. If that's what you took away from Meet the Grams, then you need to go back and listen, or just remove yourself from the beef, because that's not the point to me of Meet the Grams. But so there's like a lot. How much do you want me to explain right now? Go off on before I let you go. I just want to know, because obviously there's so many songs here. I just want to know how much, if what you wanted to say too.
I mean, you know what? You're gonna go song by song.
Well, I'm not gonna go. So I was gonna say just a little bit more of stuff, but yeah, I think Kendrick is up right now. Kendrick has said more things. Obviously, Drake has been more in defense mode, and really, Drake's main thing is you beat your wife. You now, in the latest one, you haven't been there for your kids in like 6 months, and one of your kids is day freeze. But yeah,
That's the big one.
I was gonna say that's the big one too. But like those, like
Because he's doubled down on the Dave Free and Kendrick having an illegitimate son.
yes,
Look, I mean that's where it's different for me, I think, and maybe it's because me being older, but truth and rap are not synonymous to me, so I could give a fuck about what the truth is in any of these. Like I think it's pretty clear that's probably not Drake's daughter. Like they pulled someone up on social media who they think is Drake's daughter.
yeah.
And Drake says in the diss last night, and he had denied it anyway, which of course he would have probably, but that's not his daughter, and that's someone we'd set up specifically for the situation.
Yeah.
Can
Can I say one real quick thing though?
Agree with you.
Just
Go
one
ahead.
real quick thing. So obviously Drake in this latest one mentioned Millie Bobby Brown, like the whole Whitney Millie Bobby Brown thing, kind of like flipping the wordplay there. If Kendrick doesn't flip a Stranger Things 11-year-old child 11 with Millie Bobby Brown, I'm gonna throw he needs to flip that. Sorry, go on. That's it. I was just thinking Stranger Things. Obviously Millie Bobby, she's known for that, and she's 11. I just think that's you're just handing him a bar. That's crazy. But go on.
She's 11. I thought she's like an adult.
No, she is an adult, but in Stranger Things, her character name is 11.
Oh, gotcha.
So, like,
gotcha.
in her most famous thing, her character is named 11. So, if I think he could flip a Stranger Things 11 in a scheme all on that, and it would be fire. So, that's all.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, truth is not synonymous with rap to me.
No, I agree.
Which was funny because in the Pusha battle, he obviously exposes Adonis, which turns out to be true. And actually, very much of what Drake and Push were going back and forth about, was true, at least especially on the Push end of things. Kendrick and Drake, this is very much like Jay-Z and Nas, and the fact of like just their stature, Kendrick being the lyricist, Drake and Jay-Z being the more commercial act, even though Jay-Z's really not a commercial artist. That's a different topic for a different day.
Yep.
But, just their stature, Drake being the number one guy, Jay was the number one guy at the time. And it always seemed like if there was something that was gonna brew, that would be like the perfect matchup. And, we've talked about it here. Kendrick's kind of been asking for this with Drake since Control, or at least with somebody since Control. And, there's been thinly veiled shots from both for years, for over a decade probably. And here we are. We finally got it. And we finally got it in full form, right? So just to take it back though, right? We start with Like That, which was a fucking bomb, bro. Like that shit, like that's why I said immediately it coming out of that weekend, like this could be, or I think it will be, the best rap album of the last 5 years because of what's going to come after this.
People
right?
who discredit Like That upset me greatly. Like, because some people like
discredits it?
like
Who are these
like
people?
Drake. Well, Drake stans will say, not that the song's not fire, but Drake stans will say like Kendrick wasn't really saying much on that. I've seen multiple things of that, and it's like, wait a second, what are we like? I get that you want to ride
motherfuck the big three. It's just big B.
Like sometimes you don't need the double entendres and all that kind of stuff. It's how you say it, what it's on, and like how powerful. Like how do you actually say the words? And I think that was clearly a bomb. I completely agree with you. I'm just saying Drake fans who don't feel like that was a massive shot probably should just already know that they don't know how to judge this properly. Go on with what you're saying. Starts with Like That. If you want to say it starts with first person shooter, sure, but starts really with Like That. Go.
Right? Really starts with Like That. Like first person shooter. It technically did start there because, as we now know, Kendrick was invited to be on that song by Drake and Cole. Kendrick obviously declined.
That's kind of sad though, because I would have really loved to hear Kendrick with them on that. I mean, I'm glad we got the beef with everything we got now, but I'm like, it's kind of sad because even man, all three of them, at least him and Cole can still work together. Cole just said I'm out.
Yeah, and that's what Kendrick addressed on these songs. Like, I'm surprised you asked me to be on that song. Like, we still got We still got shit we got to go through. Like, we still don't really know what this is even really about with Drake and Kendrick.
No.
They just seem to straight up. Kendrick seems to straight up just dislike Drake, which I love. I love. We just have not had this energy in hip hop in forever. And usually when we do, it's usually through. When we do have this energy in hip hop, like we got, like I'll give you two. Benny the Butcher and Freddie Gibbs have been beefing for probably the last year, maybe 2 years, right? And all I've seen is really social media activity. And they're known for being like the gangster rappers.
Yeah.
Like they're not even like, they're known for rapping street shit, right? And I've mainly seen that played out on Instagram and Twitter. Whatever. Where was I going with this? So we get Like That, right? Incredibly hard, like one of the hardest songs of the year.
Oh, yeah.
On one of the hardest albums of the year.
Yep.
On one of the most memorable verses of all time. That's what it's all going to shape out.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
At the end of the day, right? We all go crazy about it. We're all like, what's Drake's response? And what? That dropped. We're now beginning of May. When did We Don't Trust You drop? End of March? Beginning of April?
You keep going on. I'll get you the date in a second.
Must have been. It had to have been March because the second album just dropped in April. So it was like mid to late March.
March 22nd.
Like That and all that drops. Okay. Drake responds, what? Week before the playoffs start, I think. Maybe even the same day as the playoffs start. So mid-April. And that's where this all starts, okay? Drake's shit leaks, right? Sloppy from the start. His shit leaks.
Yeah.
Released the official version later. The bars are hard, sure, but it was just, we had no idea Kendrick was even going to be on that album, let alone dissing Drake. We didn't even know he was going to be on the album of Future. Drake shit gets leaked. Drake then, again, puts out the second version. Then he eventually puts it on
streaming service.
DSPs, I believe last week, maybe within the last 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden, as you mentioned, these Drake stands talking about, oh, Kendrick's on the clock now. Like the song ain't been out for a whole week and a half before that.
Yeah.
And that was addressing Future. That was addressing Metro. That was addressing A$AP Rocky. It was other people aside from Kendrick it was addressing. And I don't think he went as hard at Kendrick on that song.
I thought Push Ups was smart because there were so many people that were coming out of the woodworks basically talking about Drake, and you needed to address all of them once. Like he's taking a little shots here and there at Rick Ross because Rick Ross has been one of the loudest voices not named Kendrick, but like he had to take at least address that. Like, I understand, I see you guys, like you're doing this. So I thought Push Ups was good, and I thought it was smart to address everybody. And then obviously Taylor Made came out. It was cool. Going on. It was cool. It was good, but it wasn't cool.
But you gotta remember too. Everyone thought it was AI. It was rumored to be AI at first, and then we get that it's real. And we piece the puzzle together with, like I said, the Rory and Maul thing. They alluded to dropping "Give Me 50" on their podcast. That's when people are like, "Oh shit, this is the real thing." And then people start to really judge it, right? And then we get the beat switch, like everything. So everything about it was just not how Drake does things. Right? Yeah. Like, just, you don't get a leaked Drake track, especially a diss track.
Yeah.
Cool, though. It was cool. I think most people came out of that thinking Kendrick had the harder hit. Drake fought back, but Kendrick had the harder punch, right? And Drake's kind of warning him at the end, right? Like, we can really take it there if we want to take it there, da-da-da.
I'm really, really trying to keep it PG.
Then again, Drake then puts that on streaming services. Then he comes out with the AI diss track with Snoop and Tupac, which I think was creative. I didn't think it was all that, but I thought it was creative, and I thought
Kendrick he was in a right off.
apparently
pissed him right off.
Like I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw it, I thought like that's hella corny. Like we're really bringing AI into this. But it was just really creative that you got Tupac and Snoop, even though Snoop's alive, talking shit to Drake. And it's all through Drake's lyrics. Like, it's in Drake's cadence. It's in Drake's flow. Like, very creative. Think it's a little corny, but creative nonetheless. And I think he was in a no-win position. Because, again, I think Kendrick's definitively up at that point. If we're talking in rounds. If that's round one, whatever. Then all of a sudden, we're minding our own business. And last week, and what drops? Kendrick comes out first with Euphoria. Which was super hard, which he was just rapping his ass off all over the track. Like he introed with that little spoken word intro a little bit, and then he really got to the shits, and he was really just floating all over the beat. Reminded me of another song he's featured on, but I can't really remember at this point. It doesn't really matter.
The Heart Part
And at
4?
that point,
are you thinking?
No, maybe I don't know. I'd have to listen.
I was just say the Heart Part 4
But-
was just like kind of the same thing where, which also speaking of the Heart Part 4, real quick, you now know that the Heart Part 4 was aimed at Drake too. I mean, you knew speculation, but there was also talk about Big Sean because at the end of the Euphoria first verse, it was "Don't tell a lie on me, I won't tell the truth about you." That's how we started off on the Heart Part 4. But go on.
Yeah, no, I can't remember exactly what beat I'm thinking of. It's more of a bounce beat because I think that the middle beat in Euphoria was one of the hardest. I'd have to listen again because again, so much has happened since what that was last Tuesday.
Yeah, Euphoria.
Last Tuesday that
Euphoria
dropped.
feels like it was like a month and a half ago.
Yeah, exactly. Might as well have been a month ago at this point. And again, Kendrick swinging for the fences on that one, like coming directly at Drake, talking directly to Drake. And then it's quiet, right? The internet's a buzz about it. It's pretty clear again to me. It's pretty clear at this point that Kendrick's up. The Drake stands, as you say, like still at this point are the only ones really like saying Drake's up. Like they're the only ones with a distorted view of this. All neutral observers seem to think not only was Kendrick up, but like it's decisively up. Like Kendrick's got the main voice in this fight. It seems like. Okay, then it's quiet. It's real quiet for a few days. We're expecting Drake to come back, but especially with all that he said that at the end of the Taylor Made freestyle, like, when are you going to drop your shit already? He was the one taunting. So for Drake to go from Tuesday to Friday with nothing, it's like, all right, we're probably getting something this weekend, but we didn't get anything on the music drop like people thought. We didn't get it on Thursday and Friday at midnight. And then what do we get Friday morning? We get 6:16 in LA from Kendrick. Oh, we get a time and date and timestamp location and timestamp from Kendrick out of Drake's playbook. And it's over a hard beat. And he's going at him again. Oh, no. Kendrick's all the way up now. Like, it's all the way up. Drake, where you at? Like, come on. Again, this is Friday morning. Then, like we said on the last podcast, we get Clippers Mavs. We're all enjoying that. We're all watching the downfall of the Clippers. Like an annual, holiday. The Clippers just failing in the playoffs. You know what I mean? That might as well be Christmas for Lakers fans or something like that.
It's Memorial. That's like it's pretty much by
Memorial Day, right? Yeah,
it's April Fool's Day, Memorial Day. Like between April Fool's Day and Memorial Day, the Clippers are going to be gone. Like by Mother's Day,
exactly.
The Clippers are not going to be there anymore. You know it. Like
exactly, something's going to go on with Kawhi and whatever.
Yeah.
And in the middle of that, Drake drops. Like Drake's got not just a response, a 7-minute response. You go, oh shit. And I listened to it.
Song's fire.
I'm like, this is the best I've heard Drake rap in probably 2 calendar years.
And it's a hit.
He's
dropping 50.
He sounds peeved. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that's a song I would actually listen to. Right? Like I would actually listen to that. And he splits it into 3 different beats and all 3 are fire. And that's the highest level I've heard Drake rap at. And I'm like, let's fucking go, bro. We are here.
Mm-hmm.
We are here. We got the beef. Like it's set in stone. Kendrick responded. I thought he was up. And for the first time, I thought Drake was on even ground.
Yep.
And I'm hyped and this game is ending. And I'm like, let's go. Like, let me really dive into this. And before I could even listen to it twice, I'm seeing people tweet, hold up, Kendrick responded, like all caps, like everyone's got the same reaction. Kendrick already responded. And the reason why this is key is because Weeknd alluded to it on the R&B Future album. We still don't like you. He said y'all got a mole in your clique. Y'all got holes in your clique, which we saw that with push-ups. It got leaked. Like there were 40 seen holes in Drake's response and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick clearly knows this diss was coming. Fashioned this diss. Which, by the way, what the fuck was it? What's this one that comes after
Meet the Grams?
Family Matters? Meet the Grams. That's right, of course. It's already a direct response to Family Matters.
Yeah.
like you said, he took it to 500 with he starts it off with Dear Adonis and telling him how much of a piece of shit his dad is. That's top tier disrespectful. He
Your
already took
grandfather
it to
should have
ether
wore a
level.
condom within the first 30 seconds is insane. like I think people are just
Everything
only
about
focused on the kid, and they're like, why are we only
Everything
focused
about
on the
it.
kid? Like, we need to stop focusing on the fact that, but also that he has a
Listen.
kid or it doesn't.
Listen,
have a kid.
even if Kendrick drops that at like Saturday at noon the next day, it still would have given enough time for Drake to breathe, where we would have at least given Drake some points there, right? It still would have hit probably just as hard, but the fact that he dropped literally, I think, less than an hour after Drake's best response and came back with a double haymaker, Keenan, like there was nobody I saw that had like. I hope we get to talk to Duke. I'm going to call Duke here in a second. Duke is the only person I know of that I've talked to. Like, I'm not judging this just by the social media reaction, because social media, literally everybody except Drake stands as far as social media goes, or if you're a neutral observer, has Kendrick up big in this fight right now.
Yeah, and
But everyone I've talked to who I respect when it comes to rap, everyone has Kendrick up big. Duke is the only person I know who has this a close fight right now.
Yeah.
And I didn't even mention, and I found this out through Duke in the group chat that night. He said, hey, Drake, he threw out a new flip on Buried Alive, the Kendrick interlude that he had on a Take Care.
It was fire,
he
by
said
the way.
Drake flipped that.
The Drake flip.
Did his own version of it.
I liked it.
It was cool. It was cool after Meet the Grams. It was like, like I said, Kendrick threw a double haymaker. Drake came back with a jab. Like, okay, like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it was
I was watching a live
I don't think
stream.
the majority.
Sorry, you go.
Sorry. I'll let you go. I just wanted to say, like, I don't think the majority of people still know on this Monday that Buried Alive came out. Like, it came and went because Meet the Grams was such a fucking loud fuck you, such a double haymaker. I don't think he knocked Drake out, but I definitely think he landed a fucking 8 to 12 piece combo on Drake, and he's out on his feet and he's fighting for his life. That's where we are. And then, of course, we get Drake's response last night, which was a great response, but some people think Drake's waving the white flag there at the end, saying, hey, I'm kind of done with this. I'm going on vacation, da-da-da. He doubled down on the Dave Free thing. That's the only one that I care about being true at this point, just because he doubled down.
Yeah.
The minor allegations on Drake, people bring that up. I forget what even happened with Millie Bobby Brown, but people bring that up every once in a while. But if people really believed it, that'd be something that the majority of people would bring up, like every album Drake release.
Yeah.
Drake album release. And here's the thing. I think that's going to happen whenever Drake drops anything now. Now you are going to get the minor allegations thing brought up way more because Kendrick harped on it so much. And even if it is true, isn't true, doesn't matter. Now it's public perception. And now it's just, you've got not only a loud voice in the room, an extremely popular loud voice and valid and respected rapper in Kendrick voice in the room that's getting this out there. That now you're going to see it more with Drake. You're going to see those allegations more with Drake, true or untrue.
And when you put a bar on it that's fire, it makes it even better. Struck a chord and it's probably a minor. Like when you,
I was gonna say I didn't even mention that song. Kendrick also dropped that on top of that.
I was gonna say,
it's a fire ass club record. I didn't even mention that one.
I was getting to it.
He's way up in Drake in my opinion.
He's
way up on Drake in my opinion.
So you have,
he's up 20 right now.
So like I was actually watching a live stream on Twitter. Shout out to Mike P. Mike P has one of the greatest battle rap rounds of talking to someone's soul of all time. It's Mike P versus Danny Myers, the second round. But basically he flips all of Danny Myers' slogans and basically just says basically just attacks him for that, him and his wife, and kind of like how he's not there to provide for his wife in times of need, blah, blah, blah. Regardless. But I was listening to his live stream, and like halfway through, everyone was like, wait, Kendrick has a song come out, and that was Meet the Grams. And I was legitimately like, wait a second, what? Kendrick already has this? And that alone lets you know that there's something going on where the truth of Kendrick has a mole. And that's why 616 to me was so brilliant, was because basically it was like, hey, I'm giving you one last shot to not say anything. Like, if you just stop now, then there won't be more to come out. And then I got OVO working for me. There's 20 of you guys there, maybe the one even right next to you. You got to watch who you are. And pretty much the second Drake dropped Family Matters, it was like, okay, red button. Like, everything that I have is getting sent. Everything I have is getting sent out, because you could, if you went to the bathroom, so like, oh man, Drake drop, listen to it, go to the bathroom, get something to eat real quick, come back, be like, wonder what Twitter's saying about this, and you're like, wait, why is Meet the Grams trending 1? Oh, it's because Kendrick already dropped another track that quick. Okay, he does that, cool, drops another track, it's fire, and it's literally just demeaning Drake the entire time. And you're right. When it comes to this,
you're gonna have people. You're gonna have people doing the A minor line. You're gonna have people like singing the A minor line and saying "OVO," especially on the West Coast all summer.
Oh
like,
yeah, no, like,
let alone the United States. The West Coast is gonna ride so hard for Kendrick after this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, also,
he's
and
definitively up,
and they're probably upset about the Pac thing too. But so when you have, like, as you were saying too, lies don't fully. There are certain things in hip hop that you have to prove it's true. And like beef, a lot of time it's how you put it together and what you're saying. Like, the lies don't fully matter in a lot of these things. But when you continuously harp on something, like if Kendrick kept bringing up every single song, 11-year-old child, then it's like, okay, if we're going to say it this much, it can't not be. It has to be true at this point. But you're right. Like, the Dave Free thing, now I'm interested to know if that is a fact. Because if he's lying on that, then it's really over for Drake. But when you come out with Meet the Grams and then the next day Not Like Us, you're getting everything. You're like, okay, I've got subliminals here, check. I've got Talking to Your Soul, check. Oh, you needed something with a little bit of bounce. You guys think I'm a little boring? Well, Not Like Us. You want to go in any club tomorrow or that next weekend? You want to hear this? Gotcha. you already had some of that on Euphoria, but now you get a full song that's like, okay, we got it. I saw Rick Ross had a video of him listening to it at a huge party, and he was like, okay, it's like basically just clowning Drake again, because that's what. And then obviously Drake just dropped. And Drake really didn't do anything other than he doubled down on the Dave Free thing. He then basically said, I'm too famous. I'm too famous to be like a pedophile. And like, that doesn't fully make sense. Like, as if like famous people don't like argue.
That's so, listen, let me respond to that. Cause two things. One, let's bring it back to push-ups and Rick Ross.
Yeah.
Rick Ross dropped Champagne Moments that day.
Yeah.
And that kind of already stole the shine from the initial diss. So really the only time he's had to himself, as far as like, that's definitively my time, no response, like I got it to myself, was A, last night, and B, when he did Tailor Made Freestyle, which he had to take down, which is another loss for Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then, sorry, what's the song he dropped last night called again? The latest diss track?
The Heart Part 6.
Latest response. That's right, the Heart Part 6. So he A, takes from Kendrick's playbook where Kendrick already did Drake's move of timestamp, location, right? So he already did that. Drake does it in response to Kendrick, already less cool, because Kendrick already did that move on you. You can't do the Heart Part 6 when Kendrick already did the Drake signature record.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do, right? So Kendrick's already up there. Then Drake clearly shows how much the underage or the minor allegations are affecting him, because he spends at least half that record talking about that. And then when we talk about the Millie Bobby Brown thing, again, I don't even know what happened there. I just know I've heard about that for years. People will bring that up. I think I knew at one time, but I actually haven't done my research on what actually happened, right?
Yeah.
Kendrick never brought up Millie Bobby Brown in any one of these songs.
No.
Drake did himself. All the Millie, here's one thing I can tell you, the Millie Bobby Brown stuff came from the internet. So the fact that Drake brought that up, Kendrick didn't bring that up, that's already a loss for Drake too. So to me, again, Kendrick's up in every facet of this beef. You got Drake looking crazy. He even said at one point, he said in that diss, he said, if I was a pedophile, I would have gotten arrested.
Yeah.
Like there's not mad pedophiles running around right now, unimpeded, right? Let alone famous ones, like you said. So
Kyle,
Drake, to me, he ended up. What's up?
I just wanted to quickly say that I'm looking at it now. Is basically Drake and Millie Bobby Brown, 17-year age gap in 2017. They met in 2017. Later on, the 14-year-old actress revealed they exchanged text messages quite regularly. So pretty much
that I remember the DMs thing and the texting. And that I do.
Then
remember.
In 18, she revealed that Drake, then 31, invited her to Australia. To his Australia concert before. She shared they developed a close friendship after that. And I believe, and then she at the 18 Emmys, she described Drake as a great friend. So basically they had a smitten relationship of like good old pals, real close. And it was like, okay, the age gap there is it's kind of insane. But Drake. So
that's where the grooming.
Kendrick didn't mention anything about that, which is why I'm saying the Stranger Things 11 flip would be insane. If he flipped that would be crazy. Put it together.
So that's where the grooming. That's where the grooming allegations come from with Drake.
Then Kendall Jenner, I think, or Kylie Jenner, I think there were pictures with him and together, like set when she was like 16, 17 or something like that, and it looked whatever. Like
that's when she was dating. That's when she was dating Tyga too, and the whole Young Money thing. So
yeah.
Listen, this is what I want to do. I want to give Duke a call, see if he picks up. He might be at work, he might not be, but I want to give Duke a call. I want to hear him give his side on how Drake is at all still in this fight, because I think the public perception is Drake's being blown out in this fight. I really do. And Family Matters, Keenan, Family Matters was so hard. Family Matters was like, that's like my favorite Drake track in the last year and a half, 2 years, and it immediately gets stomped on. That's a legendary moment in hip hop history. I do want to say before I make this phone call, I mentioned how truth is not synonymous with rap in general, and especially rap beef.
Yeah.
But if what Drake says turns out to be true, because I don't believe the 11-year-old daughter thing is true.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like you said, there were so many haymakers after that, and that track, Meet the Grams, was so disrespectful. It doesn't even matter that that's a lie.
Yeah.
Right? If what Drake says is confirmed to be true, and there's really no way of finding that out. There's no way Kendrick's going to do a DNA test. There's no way Kendrick's estranged wife, if that's the case, because apparently Kendrick's living in Brooklyn. There's no way she's going to come out and just be like, yeah, Kendrick's not the father of our son, right? Unless there's any proof of that, that's really the only way Drake would win, is if he had that dirt, exposed that dirt, and that dirt becomes true.
Yes.
And the way that Push did him. That's really the only way to me.
That, and then if you can really confirm that he beats his wife, or he did. Like,
right.
If you can confirm,
because that's also substantiated, right? Like, there's no proof of that at this moment.
Which is why that Drake fans get me, because like they're always like, well, there's no proof of what Kendrick's saying, but there's no proof of what Drake's saying. We're just taking them at their words right now, which is why you can't fully say like, oh, I don't believe this, because like you just have to take it at what it is right now, which is why Drake can't be up. Kendrick just said way more. Like literally just off volume alone, he can't be up. But when the volume's actually hitting, then it like it just off volume alone. Like Kendrick's taking 20 shots to Drake's 10. So even if they each make the same amount, like Kendrick is naturally already up double. But then comparatively, like when you're hitting on high cylinder or high clip, it just changes the game even more.
Last thing I want to say. Hold on, let me research one thing. Okay. Let me just point this out before I call Duke. It was Drake was obviously an easy target coming into the rap game, being known for Degrassi.
Yep.
Right? That's gonna make you an easy target. It's gonna be hard for you to earn your stripes. Obviously, Drake was such a dope artist, and the backing he had with Young Money and Jay Prince, and that's a whole different story. But the backing he had, he was able to get features, he was able to get credibility, and he's a dope artist, of course. But early on in his career, he was at least still picked on social media, picked on by rappers. It was cool to pick on Drake.
Yeah.
And then Drake took over. Sometime between Nothing Was the Same on to If You're Reading This Is Too Late and on really up until the Pusha beef, Drake was pretty Teflon and proved to be Teflon after the Pusha beef because, yeah, Pusha probably won that beef, in my opinion. And Pusha made it cool to pick on Drake again for probably about a month. I think Pusha's album drops in May. I just looked. Drake dropped Scorpion in June with responses.
Yeah.
Right? He did Duppy Freestyle, obviously, but he dropped Scorpion in June, which, good album. Some might say great album, but I think most people think it's a good album, but it's definitely got some A-plus tracks on there, in my opinion.
Yep.
But, you know, was still just hugely popular, like, incredibly streamed. I remember that one got a, like, overwhelming amount of just press for it. Like, it was almost shoved down your throat that you had to stream it kind of thing. So,
yeah,
you know, that comes with it. That comes with it. That's when this Drake shit, that's where you could really tell it was more targeted to, his music was starting to get more targeted to kids rather than, you know, rap fans.
Well, yeah, because I mean, that was, I was going to say, obviously, you have some rap songs on that, but that Scorpion was really.
Yeah, Tootsie Slide on there.
God's Plan. There was oh my gosh, I can't even think about it.
In My Feelings.
Yeah, In My Feelings. That was
In
the
My
one I was
Feelings.
thinking about.
In My Feelings and Tootsie Slide specifically. And Tootsie Slide might have came later, but that's really when he started to try to gear towards TikTok. Again, still some fire on there. There's a lot of, some of my favorite Drake tracks are on that album, but point being,
Nonstop's like a fire track that you can kind of like does that. The club record that can kind of do both, but like you could use that on TikTok, but it's not made for TikTok to where like
right. It wasn't melodic.
Do you love me? Are you riding? like,
right.
like that's made for TikTok,
right?
That kind of thing.
Point being though, you know, Push for that month and a half made it cool to clown Drake, and then Drake sold 1 million records or whatever. You know, he got his streams and all that, and then like Drake stands do, as you say, as we've alluded to. They will point to sales and how popular he is. And, you know, that beef kind of fell by the wayside. Even though, again, I think Pusha won. This is the first time really since Pusha, and certainly in at least a decade, for real, where it's like, it's been openly cool to like clown Drake, and that he's had more than just one person or more than just one camp. It's not just Kanye and Push going at him. You know, this time, obviously, it was Future, Kendrick, a lot of valid names. And by the way, we didn't even talk about Kanye's Like That remix. He jumped in and threw a shot at J. Cole. And threw shots at Drake, obviously, too. And we still got Vultures, too, on the way and all that. So, I mean, there's still more layers to this beef to come. But this is really the first time that Drake's looked vulnerable in years. So, just off of that, and by Kendrick, not just clowning him, but like you said, top-tier disrespect on the rap beef side of things. You know, Kendrick has to be up. He just absolutely has to be up.
No, there's no way. There's no way he's legitimately not. I mean, you can call Duke, but I'm just saying there's just no way he's legitimately not up. Like it's.
And I want to be clear. Duke does have Kendrick up. He also has Kendrick up like the rest of us, but he's the only person I've heard that has this even close. So I'm gonna give him a call here. Let's see if we can get him on. How well can you hear that on your side?
We can hear.
All right.
Yeah.
This is Kyle Warner of the Warner Brothas podcast. Duke, you were on live with the Warner Brothas podcast. What's up? Say what's up to Keenan.
Hey, yo, what up?
What's up, sir? What's up, sir?
He was right. He was wrong.
Duke, we're talking about obviously the Kendrick Drake beef. And I was saying how, and this is true, you're the only person, though you have Kendrick up, you're the only person I know that has this even close right now. So I wanted you to give your side, why you think it's close, if you still have it close, because this was before obviously Drake dropped the Heart Part 6.
Part 6, yeah.
So I have not heard your reaction to that. So give me your opinion on where this beef stands, et cetera, et cetera. I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, thank y'all for calling me for such a monumental event.
It really is. It really is.
But now I still have it close just because when the facts check, who's gonna be really telling the truth, and that changes everything. Like if you drop something like Family Matters, then go into Meet the Grams, and half of the song is all based off lie or the true part that Drake did feed information, which I don't see either way. That changes a lot of stuff. But like I said, even if it's false or whatever, just speaking diss-wise, Kendrick got the best song out of it. Because Not Like Us goes crazy. And even then, when he was just talking, there's fact stuff in there that's better than if the pedophile line and just how he even did the whole A minor and people don't know about scores with music theory. It was just crazy the way he pieced that together.
Yeah.
But the whole verse about the whole ATL, that kills him because that's true. And then, yeah, that's just a bop. As soon as that junk came on, you ain't heard Mustard on the beat. You ain't hear that for a minute. Boy, I knew I almost started blood walking, doing whatever I things do as soon as it dropped. But yeah.
So really, it comes down to truth for you at the end of the day. That's why you got it so close. See, that's where I disagree because, and you know this, you're from the same era as me. Half the diss tracks that we grew up on, like the crazy, crazy ones, I'd say most of them aren't based in truth. You know, maybe some litigation of truth, but I'd say majority of them are just, you know, trying to be as disrespectful as possible.
Exactly.
And I think that's why Kendrick's up. And I thought I would have this close, and this is what me and Keenan were talking about. I would have this close if Family Matters had maybe 12 to 18 hours to stand by itself. You know what I mean? But the fact that it was immediately stomped on by Meet the Grams, that's really where this battle took a turn for, you know, Kendrick and only Kendrick. And then, like you said, he doubles down and releases Not Like Us before Drake can respond. Obviously, as we know now, Drake responds last night, but I just think Kendrick got too many shots off. Where I do agree with you, and this is the last thing I said before I called you, where I do agree with you is if Drake can somehow confirm that Kendrick's kid is Dave Free's kid, if that part's true, then we will have to eventually award this battle to Drake because he exposed it. And then if it ends up being true, you know, that's how Pusha really won the last beef to me. So
that, or even beating on his wife, like,
or being on his wife, of course. Yep.
True. It gets a little scary out. For real.
That's very true. If either one of those is true, but especially both of those, if there's proof of the beating his wife allegations on top of his kid not being his, then we can award it to Drake. But right now, to me, it's like Kendrick up 3 rounds right now. It's not close to me if we're just talking rap, if we're just talking songs, if we're just talking perception. And the crazy part about it is I think Family Matters is probably the hardest song out of all of them just to like listen to.
That or Not Like Us.
I know
right
you
now.
got Not Like Us. Not Like Us is crazy. And I actually probably I might like 616 in LA as far as just rapping, but
rapping on that was beautiful.
But Family Matters is super crazy. Like that's my favorite Drake track in probably a year and a half, 2 years. But
I also count the Buried Alive parody. Like nobody wanted to throw that in there. That's one to go crazy for it. And then when you actually go to Family Matters, like the way that was set up was masterful. But that's why I said behind the scenes it looked fishy. Like the last time we spoke, like yo, this looked planned because how you gonna have a response like that for Meet the Grams for Family Matters in 29 minutes less than
exactly.
You owe me a free pizza.
Exactly.
29 minutes or less.
I mean, look, honestly, I've seen like you and Keenan's back and forth in the group chat, but it sounds like we're all on the same page here. You just kind of have it on, like, you know, if
I just have it on closer scale.
Yeah, because you seem to be weighing Buried Alive, that flip. You seem to be weighing that heavier than most people. Because I was telling Keenan, you know, you alerted us about it, but I haven't seen really anybody on social media talk about it because I don't think they know about it because I think that dropped around the same time as Meet the Grams.
Yes.
So you're right in the fact that it's a dope flip, but I don't think many people saw it or heard it.
Oh yeah, it's only on IG. So what he did was put that on IG and then drop the link. And since it was the same, he just dropped the link to Meet the Family. So you have watched the video, you're hearing it, you're thinking that it's gonna be the Buried Alive parody that he might switch to be like, even if he used it, but I don't think he could own it. because Kendrick would have had to sign off for it. That's why I only think he's on IG. But if you thinking just diss wise, his flip to that leads into the actual song or something else would have been crazy. But as soon as you hit the link on YouTube, it was a whole different song, and that's what made it even harder to me.
Yeah, I think that if Kendrick didn't drop,
but yeah, I just got it closer because the little 0.5 jabs in there, and then like you said with dissing, like from my ear, like Jay-Z really put condoms on the back of Nas' fucking baby's mama, left condom on the back of his baby's mama baby seat. Like that shit was real.
Yep.
What Ether was like, that shit was real. Niggas was dissing real. Only shit, even like No Vaseline with Ice Cube, he was saying real shit about him. Yeah, there's a little jazz in there we all know it's fake. Like when people used to say, you know, the homosexuality allegations and all that stuff. But like that was how you just diss somebody. That's like roasting. Like obviously it's not going to be 100% facts, but when y'all dropping real bombshells like this, somebody gotta have some truth. And the crazy part about the pedal line is that now on, if you go on like social media, they started roasting my man Mac Ming, talking about the Miley Cyrus line. In about 3 years, holla at me, Miley Cyrus. It was like that Young Money grooming. That's what Drake got us from the OVO.
Forgot about that. That's funny. That's funny. Classic song, by the way.
Yeah.
Even with some questionable lyrics on there, but classic song nonetheless.
Definitely questionable, especially now in this day and age.
For real.
What you have up?
I don't know if you can hear me, but I have.
Where Keenan at?
He on the other side. Can you hear him?
I can hear
No,
him.
I can't hear.
Oh shit! I probably gotta. Yeah, no, because you're coming through my headphones, so you can't hear him. But Keenan's got Kendrick up. He shares a lot of the same opinions as I do, but he's also on your side too, as far as like, you know, there's got to be some proof to these allegations because they're such wild allegations.
Somewhere, bro.
Exactly. But I think in general,
this is by saying anything, like, and it just be like, if the song's hot, then it doesn't matter. Like, nah, that's not how it goes. That's corny.
but I think he's with me as far as like, for me, like I said, Meet the Grams was such a haymaker. Like that's just like, that's the highlight of this entire beef to me. Cause Drake, if Family Matters gets to stand for at least 24 hours, I think some people might have Drake up, or if not tied. You know what I mean? I think it's viewed as a lot closer of a battle. But the fact that, like you said, not only did Kendrick step on it, but he proved to the, you know, what they've been saying. Weeknd said it. He said it. You got leaks in your camp. You got a mole in your camp. He proved that. I mean, everything he said on Meet the Grams, not only was it just a response or a diss in general, but it was a response to Family Matters within 30 minutes. So, you know, he's given credence to the theory that there's leaks in his camp. And, you know, obviously I think the album art for that was because it showed like a Drake Ozempic bottle and it, you know, it had like items in his house or whatever. And then another part. So Drake last night in the Heart Part 6, he's talking about how they had someone, or that they were plotting all week, right? For how they're gonna, you know, expose the fake daughter, this or that. But then he also says the people who are giving you information are full of shit. So like, which is it? You know what I mean? Like he's double talking there too. So, you know.
Which I like that flip. You took my name, my Joan, my title. I'm gonna take yours with the series that Heart Part 6. I was like, yo, that's hard. Especially the whole 6 play on 6. And I think that's probably the best rapping wise Drake did. Like there was crazy bars. The way he ended it, it was just corny because like, dog, you just got hit with a knockout punch, and you gonna mess around and drop something, try to be nice and shit, and defend shit all in a soft melodic tone. Like, nigga, drop some hard shit.
Facts. I do.
But y'all be safe.
Word.
I see.
Well, that was the Warner Brothas podcast. Glad we got Duke's side. I can't wait to talk more about it. I hope. What do you think, Keenan? Do you think we get more this week? Do you think Kendrick responds? I've heard that we might have one more Kendrick response. Like what?
I heard that we might have a Kendrick response within the next like 10 hours. To be quite honest.
Let's call it next Monday when we're recording. We're reviewing the playoff weekend.
Yeah.
What do you think has gone on since?
We have 1 to 2 more Kendrick songs, and I don't know if we have a Drake song.
And to me, I would expect if Kendrick's going to continue dropping, there has to be proof at some point, right?
Yeah. You would think
Of something that he's saying.
you would think there has to be at some point, but yeah, I think that we probably get another Kendrick drop for sure, and then from there, I don't know.
My guess would be we do get one more Kendrick, and it would have to separate itself from everything else that's dropped so far. Like, it would have to have something either concrete or somehow something even more disrespectful than what's been going on. Because again, Drake's talking about Kendrick's kid here, Kendrick's wife, his personal situations. And I think where Kendrick's actually coming out on top here is he's not really addressing any of that. He's just continue to throw flamethrowers at Drake, throw haymakers at Drake. Like, he's not even addressing what Drake's actually saying, whereas Drake's addressing what Kendrick is saying. So that's where Kendrick kind of has a leg up. I think we do get one more Kendrick response. And I think this is where maybe social media could get involved, and we could get into the proof game and, the trolling and shit. Cause that's what Drake's been trying to do since the beginning, is troll people on his IG stories and shit like that. So my guess is by next Monday, we'll get a Kendrick track. And I think that's really it. Yeah. I think what would be next would be someone to really, from Drake's camp, that's not Drake, to really address Kendrick personally, whether it's, on an IG story or try to, I don't know. I do think this beef has been so disrespectful, and they obviously have a lot of mutual people they collab with, to where you would expect this to eventually get ugly, which is unfortunate. Hopefully, no deaths. We don't want this to go the Tupac Biggie route. But I mean, the shit they're saying, it's a small world. You'd figure they run into each other at some point. You would figure what's being said, it's gonna turn physical, or it's gonna turn ugly in some form. But I do think we get Kendrick one response, whether it's tonight or tomorrow, and then I don't really know after that. I would have a hard time believing Drake's gonna keep quiet. He says he is, but how much can you keep quiet?
We'll have to see what Kendrick.
So I don't know. I will say I don't think this is the end. I will say this. I didn't mention this to you or Duke yet, but if Kendrick were to drop an album, let's say in July, right? Or maybe even June, off the heels of this, that would kind of make me look differently at it. That would almost make it look like a rollout to me. Mm-hmm. So I think it would serve Kendrick, if he does have a project, to not drop it over the summer, because then you could really say, okay, all right, he used the biggest artist, to really roll his album out. Was this rap beef even real kind of thing? Then that would give credence to Drake, because Drake did say that in one of the songs, like, you're here because of me. The reason why I like that was so successful is because of me, and on and on. So I'm very interested to see where it turns. I do think it dies down, though, from this moment on.
I agree.
A little bit, just a little bit. Doesn't mean it won't heat up back in July or June, but I do think we're at a pause point. But I could be completely wrong about that. Funny part about all this, Keenan, is like leading into last week, I was pretty bored with this beef. Like, it wasn't nearly where I thought it was going to be. And I thought, honestly, we wouldn't get much till June or maybe the end of May. And it is all the way escalated. But
alrighty. Well, this was the Warner Brothas podcast. That's Kyle. This is Keenan. Follow us Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, of course, all Warner Brothas podcast. We'll be here talking this beef. We'll be talking basketball coming up here soon. Things are heating up. The WNBA season starts next Wednesday, so we'll be definitely talking some WNBA too. And we'll see you guys soon.
Can I give you some quick breaking news right here?
Yes.
I don't really. So you seeing Jimmy Butler talking about, if he's playing in the Celtics series, the Heat probably win. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the famous "Don't let us get one" when he's on the sideline.
Yeah.
Pat Riley had his like outro meeting with the media, right? Like, season ending. He said, if you're not on the court playing, you should keep your mouth shut. Very direct to Jimmy Butler. The Godfather of Miami has spoken.
I'm going to let that sit there. Warner Brothas podcast.
This was the Warner Brothas podcast.
Warner Brothas podcast. That's crazy. We'll see you soon.
Like a man.